To go live. All right, everyone, we are live. Thank you for joining Construction Appreciation Week. I'm here with Eric Gray and a few other friends. We're excited to talk with you all. This is a week where the industry honors our current workforce and promotes students like yourselves to join in and get involved in the skilled trades and construction. So Eric, I'm just gonna hand it over to you, introduce yourself and kind of talk to the students about why you're here today.
Okay, so my name's Eric Gray. I'm the training director for the Dayton Electrical JATC. We do electrical apprenticeship training. I have my assistant with me today. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit. There's Anthony.
All right.
Eric and Anthony, or I should say both of us went through the apprenticeship program. We topped out a year apart, so we're very familiar with the ins and outs of what we do here. We have a little outline here to keep us on track here. So I guess we'll just start off with I can't see my audience, so I was going to ask if any of them knew anything about apprenticeship or what an apprenticeship is, but basically an apprenticeship is an opportunity for you to gain a skill set while working underneath a journeyman and also earning a living wage while you're doing that. We refer to it as a earn and learn. So you're working out in the field with journeymen in your trade. There are also other apprentices on the job site, and that's how you're picking up the on-the-job skills. And in addition to that, we do classroom training, a minimum of 180 hours a year for each of our 5 years in our inside wireman apprenticeship. So we just started back in school. We're actually sitting in our big open area where the school takes place. So yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity to get your feet wet, learn a trade. And there's really no expectation for you to have a certain level of knowledge when you come into our trade. I started very green. Anthony had some experience as a CW. So you can start at any level, and we don't assume that you know anything when you come in here, other than the basics of math and the reading comprehension that you had to pass to get in, which we'll cover in a minute.
So we want to share a video. I'm not 100% sure how we're going to work. Brian, how do we share screen?
So you're just going to go ahead and click share screen and then select your screen that has the video and then go ahead and click play. And Eric, while he's setting up the video, for the folks who are watching at home or in class with a teacher, what is your trade? What did you select when you decided to go into the skilled trades and construction?
Okay, so I'm an inside wireman. Sorry, I guess I should have started with that. So is Anthony. Inside wireman, that's typically what you would think of as when people talk about an electrician. But that is our classification as the inside wireman. We do power distribution. We basically have the building once it leaves the utility and the power once it leaves the utility, and we take control of that inside. There's outside linemen. They bring the power to the building, and then we take it over once it into the building.
And this all falls under the umbrella of electricians and doing electrical work, is that right?
Yes. We have two programs here, which we're going to get into. We have a low voltage program as well. They typically work on like low voltage systems like your security locks, fiber optics, cable TV, that kind of stuff. It's a 4-year program. We'll get into all the details on that here in a minute, but I think Anthony's ready with the video.
Great.
Who builds America?
We build it.
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 We build it. We are the organized building and construction trades of the Miami Valley. Electricians, sheet metal workers, iron workers, carpenters and millwrights, bricklayers, plumbers and pipe fitters, operating engineers, cement masons and plasterers, insulators, laborers, roofers, painters. Every year, the construction industry in this country needs another 10,000 skilled workers, and that demand is growing. Our country was built by such skilled men and women, and with their numbers falling, we'll soon fall behind. This is why it's the right time to start a career in the organized building trades. How do you do this? By enrolling in one of our 3 to 5 year apprenticeship programs. You can earn while you learn, working alongside journeyman craftsmen and receiving great pay with annual pay raises. Classroom instruction is accredited at several community colleges, so when you graduate to become a journeyman, you have acquired a great skill that is always in demand. You have earned college credit towards a degree. You will be earning top wages with outstanding benefits, and you will not have any college loans to repay. Becoming a journeyman isn't the end of the road. You can train for new skills and certifications. You can be promoted to foreman, to estimator, to supervisor, and to project manager to increase your earnings. You can even own your own business. Another plus is that as a journeyman, you can move nearly anywhere in this country for gainful employment. Your membership is totally transferable across the states. Your benefits, certifications, and work history all follow you wherever you go. So if you're looking for a career that cannot be shipped overseas, a career that puts you to work from day one, a career with top wages, benefits, and growth potential, a career with the best training for men and women, an apprenticeship program in the organized building trades is for you. Build for your future. Build with the best. For more information about your future in the organized building trades, contact www.daytonapprenticeships.org.
Can you hear me, Brian?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So that was a little video that we put together with all the building trades. You might have seen Eugene Frazier in there, who have talked to some of the people that are probably on here before. He runs the sheet metal apprenticeship program. Again, I'm Eric Gray. I run the electrical side. We do share same building, so Eugene is right down the hall from me. We have a couple other trades in our building as well. So with that, we would like to talk a little bit more about what we offer. We are, like I said, the electricians. We have a 5-year program. That's the inside wireman program. That's what typically think of when you think of an electrician. And then we also have a installer technician program. It's a 4-year program now. And the skill set for them is a little different. And that's why it's a 4-year program. You don't learn quite as much of the theory because you're only handling low voltage systems. You also don't learn to run conduit. That's just the inside wireman's work and not the low voltage work. And we really don't cross trades when we perform our jobs. So the apprenticeship programs, you go to, typically you would work for your employer from 7 to 3:30, and then come to here 1 or 2 nights a week for your school. It's mostly 2 nights a week, and that's from 5 to 9. We have the summers off just like your normal school year, but you continue working year round. And then at the end of your 5 years, you get a completion certificate from the state of Ohio and also the Electrical Training Alliance. And that's your credentials for completing the apprenticeship program. And you can train those. You can take those credentials with you anywhere, especially if you're union and you go to work for another location. You can work wherever you want. I mean, if you want to go work in California, then you can up and go work in California. I mean, like the video said, it's all transferable, which is one of the great things about the building trade. You can go to work anywhere you want and take your job skills with you.
Eric, you mentioned that you go to work before you go to class. And, if you're a first year apprentice, and kind of describe, especially if you're in the realm that you're in, what does that kind of look like for a first year student?
So, Brian, we actually have a video pulled up that is the day of the life of an electrical apprentice. We'll actually share that and go to that now.
Perfect. And we totally planned that, right?
Yeah.
Good lead in.
My Monday starts just like anybody else, except I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
The job starts at 6:30, about an hour drive. So I was up at 4:30.
It's not glorious by any means. But I love doing it. It's something different every day.
Yeah, overall, it's cool work, and you gotta learn it. Everything's learning on the job, so that's why you go to school twice a week at night for 6 hours, and you work 40 hours a week.
A career as an electrical worker with the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA, and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, or IBEW, offers extraordinary benefits, including a strong wage package, medical insurance, and a sound retirement program, among many other benefits. This exciting career starts with apprenticeship through a joint apprenticeship and training committee, or JATC training center, operated by an IBEW local union and local chapter of NECA.
They give you all the tools that you need to succeed on a job site out here, because you only really have 5 years in the apprenticeship, so you got to get the most out of it while you're being trained.
An IBEW NECA apprenticeship offers apprentices the invaluable opportunity to work on the job, side by side with a journeyman electrical worker, and education in world-class electrical training facilities, unparalleled anywhere in the industry. A career as an IBEW NECA electrical worker opens the door to the possibility of exceptional career advancement, from apprentice to journeyman, estimator, and management roles, to even becoming the owner of your own electrical contracting business.
After I complete my 5 years in the apprenticeship program, I hope to pursue a license as a master electrician.
I just hope somebody gives me the opportunity to run a job like this, or get to the point where I've built my career enough to where, hey, that big job over there, yeah, that's Jordan Basic's job. That's what he's doing.
But while the prospect of becoming an IBEW NECA electrical apprentice may seem like the right path, working in construction is not for everyone. The real-life rigors of the electrical construction trade and the commitment to an additional 5 years of classroom instruction in a local area JATC trade school, as well as 8,000 hours of on-the-job training, should be understood and accepted prior to applying for your apprenticeship. This will help ensure you are making the right choice.
If you ain't learning on the job and you're just trying to show up to get paid, you ain't gonna really learn too much. In class, they'll do hands-on activities to kind of give you a feel for it. But then on the job, the journeyman will slow down and talk to you and kind of, if you ever have a question, you usually just ask them, and they should be able to stop whatever they're doing and talk to you.
Further, apprentice candidates are expected to possess a mechanical aptitude and a fundamental understanding of algebra and geometry, while being on time and keeping a good attitude. Utilizing what has been learned in the classroom, online, and in hands-on training applications, in conjunction with your willingness to listen to and carry out direction as instructed, is imperative. This is not only to ensure the job is done properly, but also for the safety of everyone working on the job site. Your attendance is also required on all work and school days, as well as being prompt, as the combination of quality work, safety, and on-time delivery of every construction project is part of what makes the IBEW the very best in the industry. Workdays in construction are different than in most other occupations. The construction workday may start as early as 6 a.m. and may also extend several hours past a standard 8-hour day.
I'm up at 5:45.
My alarm went off 4:30.
Day starts at 5 o'clock, so I try to be at work and park by 4:30.
No, you got to be in class at 7, ready to go. You're late. go home.
Although IBEW NECA apprentices and journeymen are paid well for each and every hour worked, you may be required to make special accommodations for extended work days or work a 6 to 7 day week in order to complete a job with a tight deadline. Apprentices are also expected to attend school during the week, either in the evening or during the day, in addition to taking online classes through their local JATC. This places an additional burden on the situation to ensure all schoolwork is completed and done properly. Right from the very first day on the job, apprentices are expected to be dressed appropriately for work. This not only includes being dressed for the weather and potential changes, but also to work safely on a construction site. Weather conditions are often extreme, as electrical workers may be outside in the coldest months, as well as the warmest, with temperatures ranging from well below freezing to well above 90 degrees, with high relative humidity. This is not only a matter of your comfort to work well on the job, but also your safety.
The other day I was in a manhole that we have out there, and I was in there for about 5 hours yesterday. My feet were warm.
The work of an electrical worker may even be surprising to some, as apprentices may be required to unload trucks, dig ditches, and build basic structures, in addition to many other tasks.
I had no idea of what I was getting into, the extent of what I was getting into when I got into it. I did not know that electricians build things. I did not know that they tear down things. I figured they would just wire stuff.
We got a delivery coming. The guy's gonna pull it over by the pipe. It's got one skid. Want to get that for me?
You should also be aware that the restroom facilities on most job sites are limited to portable units and will be the only option available.
I never even thought about the restroom situation. Never paid any attention until I had to go to the restroom.
The understanding of your apprenticeship experience, both on the job and at the training center, is the key to making this career choice a success. And we hope this has provided a quality look into the life of an apprentice.
As long as you're there and you want to work, it always goes by smoothly.
It's just a day in the life of, is what I do.
Because, you're outside for 8 hours, it's a taxing day. You're out working physically. I wouldn't say it's easy by any means.
It's not bad. I know people think of construction, they think of dirty, and they think of, oh, it's a man's job. But you know what? It could be a woman's job too.
It's all about working together, being organized, and doing it right.
More information is available here on Electric Prep and through your local JATC training center.
Okay, so hopefully that will give you a little insight.
Absolutely. So I got to ask this question, guys, because if I'm a student and I'm watching that and I see sometimes I got to get up early. So there are some weeks I might work 7 days a week. I'm in school and working for 5 years. Explain to some of the students watching, considering a career in construction, what you guys love about it and why you guys are willing to do that and the reward behind the work. I think students probably value hearing that.
Well, for me, I really like working with my hands. This is not my first trade. I was a millwright at the General Motors plant for a while. Before that went somewhere else. But I've just always liked working with my hands and seeing the results of that work. As far as the school, doing the school and waking up early and all that, I just try to look at it as that's a step for me to get to the next level. And that next level is what I want. It's really, you have to be self-driven. I mean, honestly, you have to be self-driven to be successful, I think, in anything. If you're just doing it for the paycheck, you're not going to last very long. So I think it's imperative to find something that you like to do. Otherwise, it's going to just feel like a job. Another thing I liked on going to these construction sites was the development of working in a team and getting the project done on time, usually below budget, and seeing the rewards of everybody's efforts. I probably drive my kids nuts. I drive by some buildings that I worked on when I was an apprentice. Oh yeah, I worked on that building. You should see above the ceilings in here. And yeah, they've heard it all. Like I said, though, you got to find what you're passionate about. If it's just getting a paycheck, then this is probably not for you.
Anthony, I'd love to hear your response on why you love working and now, teaching and getting more students involved in this career path.
All right, so I actually went for 2 years trying to get into the program because it is kind of competitive to get in. You have to pass the aptitude test and you have to interview well. So I spent a little bit of time in the CW program, and that got me started, kind of got my feet wet. I was on the job sites, wasn't making as much, didn't have the benefits, but I knew where my end game wanted to be. In the apprenticeship, like Eric said, in the video you saw, they were out in the dirt. They were on the metal pan for a new building that was getting poured. So actually that pan they were walking on setting pipes would get covered with concrete. So their electricians are on the job kind of when it's coming out of the dirt. We're one of the first trades on the site because we have pipes that go in the ground, run all over the place. And then we're one of the last ones to leave because, we got to put all the plates on, or we're programming lighting control systems and everything that, does all the automation. And that's the thing I liked about it much is one day you could be outside in the ditch up to your knees in mud, slinging pipe in the ground. And then the next week you could be in a finished building, putting all the finished touches on, putting fancy light fixtures up. So the variety of our work goes tenfold. I mean, dirty, clean.
That's great. I think that's helpful. So we have a question from Lebanon High School, and it was, do you have any recommendations for getting a good job shadow as a high schooler to just go out and job shadow a construction site? Do you have any recommendations on what a high schooler should do to go out and see it firsthand before they kind of go down this path?
Well, that's a tough one because of insurance laws, job site laws, safety requirements on those job sites. It's tough. I mean, that's a question that we've been asked several times, and a lot of our contractors just don't allow it because their insurance doesn't allow it. So that's one of the reasons we made the video, because it's hard to get people on a job site. I don't know, Anthony, do you have any suggestions?
I don't know if we could get with some of the general contractors we know. We might not be able to truly get them on the construction part of it, but if they get in touch with us, we might be able to get them to the job site, maybe do a walk around. I don't know about a full-day shadow.
It's tough right now because of COVID-19 too. I mean, we're all dealing with the restrictions of that as well. So might not be the best to do that, but we can that's something that we can try and work on for sure.
Sure, and I think that's one of the great things about DaytonApprenticeships.org is that, if you use that contact tab there and just say, hey, I'm a high school student, I'm interested in learning more, that's a great place to start. And they'll probably be able to help you find someone to give you a little window into the profession. Now, guys, my next question for you is, can we get a tour? Can we see a little bit of the space?
Sure. Well, actually, me and Anthony have some of our tools that we use on
great.
Laid out on the table.
Let's see it.
Hold on, I got to figure out how to change the camera. There we go. All right, I've switched our camera to, you'll see some other stuff sitting on the table, my surface and everything, but we've got some of our basic hand tools. I'll start over here. And Eric's going to kind of pick them up and just give us a little talk.
Of course, you got to have your safety glasses. It's very important. We have a tool pouch here. Most of these tools we see here are required for apprentices. And so once you are accepted into our program, you would get a tool list and get these tools. But a wooden ruler, 6-foot wooden ruler is required. These are what we call diagonal cutters, dikes, is what we call them in the field. This is a small set. We have these are linesmans. That's a very popular tool for electricians. You'll see everybody on a job site with a set of those in their back pocket. They're useful for cutting, pulling wire, gripping your fish tape to help you pull. Some people use them for a hammer, but that's probably not a good idea. We have a non-contact voltage tester. You'll see people wearing these in their pockets all the time. You can stick them in an outlet, run them along a wire. If there is voltage in that wire, it picks it up and gives you an alert that circuit is hot. So we don't work on hot circuits unless it's absolutely necessary, and apprentices will never do that. Flashlight, everybody knows what a flashlight is. Tape measure, got a jab saw here. We do a lot of cut-in boxes in drywall when we have to add an outlet somewhere. We have the ability to cut into the wall with this and then fish down behind the wall so that you don't see the pipe on the wall. Wire strippers, there's several different types, different manufacturers. They all do the same thing. Hammer, everybody knows what a hammer is. A couple screwdrivers are required. A Phillips head and a flat blade. They make this is a 13-in-1. You'll see a lot of guys on job sites with a 10-in-1, and then you can just flip this multiple ways to get different size screwdrivers, and also some nut drivers. These are your slip joint pliers. We're required to have a couple sets of those. Yeah.
You're moving around.
A couple hole saws, you'll see these everywhere. We're doing holes and to penetrate boxes, walls, to run our conduit through. So yeah, you'll see these everywhere. And then we have a meter. Our 5th years are required to have a meter. This is to test current, amperage, and resistance, so that you can see you can't see electricity, but you can see the effects of electricity.
So the tools will have your hand tools. We have a basic tool list that you have to provide. It is a very basic list. It's, right here we've got a lot of Milwaukee and Klein. That's because they are one of our partners. So we get stuff from them, but you can spend as little or as much as you want on tools, but we have a basic list that you have to have. And that's the price for that is borne by you. You must purchase those, but they're your tools. A lot of your bigger stuff, which we're going to come over here and look at, we've got,
So your drills, your hammer drills, that's contractor provided. Bandsaws, you'll see all different shapes, sizes of these. This is a battery operated one, but you'll see them corded. Then we have a hand bender. This is for bending 3/4 inch conduit or 1/2 inch rigid. There's marks on the bender. We teach you what those are all about. You will learn how to use a hand bender if you become an electrical person. Got this big one out here. Nobody likes these. This is for 1.5 inch or 1.25 inch EMT. But you are on this.
Speak up.
You're on this with all your weight. Just trying to hold this handle steady. It's got a lever here that it's all you can do to bend the pipe. Lots of people, when they see a new guy on one of these, they got their phone out because they're taking a video. It's gonna be humor.
But then at the same time, we don't have to always do it manually. We have electric tools. So this is an electric bender, and it bends. So it's got different shoes on it for different size pipe. So this one will do anywhere from a 1/2 inch pipe, all the way in the little small side, up to a 2.5 inch pipe. And the pipe goes in there and it mechanically bends it for you. So it takes a lot less effort. We'll kind of walk around the trade center a little bit, show you some stuff. So right here, we've got a lot of mobile labs. So this is a fire alarm trainer. So you will, you're going to start at the fire alarm panel, and you'll actually put the wire in, put the devices in, which could be anything from pole stations to smoke detectors, heat detectors. So, this is a hands-on, teach you how to do it lab. Look around, we've got.
Guys talk about classroom time and going to class for 5 years. This is the kind of classroom they're largely in, correct?
Yeah, yes. A lot of it, we do the knowledge-based part of it where we'll walk through one of those classrooms where we sit and use, but we try to get them out here, in our labs, using their hands, getting the hands on. So this is our solar trainer. We've got 6 solar panels, and on the back of the one has all the things that are required to hook it up. So the panels just plug together, but then you've got all these other components that must be wired correctly, properly, to make it work. How to get that sun to give you usable AC energy. The big thing in a lot of buildings now is building automation, where the lights come on automatically, the heater adjusts when people's in. We teach that. We're wiring it, we're programming it, and that's kind of one of these trainers. This little mini Z box is the brain. It does everything in it, but you have to hook up all the switches and sensors that make it work. So we're teaching the kids how to do that. So we have kind of an open area. It's set up for orientation right now. Pre-COVID, we had some ping pong tables and stuff for students to stay busy during break. But so our classrooms, we've got our smart board projectors. This is where you're spending time in here going over your homework. We use an online system for the homework, so the teacher knows beforehand what you need help on, and that's what they're going to spend the time on, is teaching what's needed. Some of these lessons have 50, 60 questions in them. We don't need to go through every single question. We just need to know what you guys didn't understand, and that's what we work on. So we're not wasting a lot of time on stuff people understand. We're digging into the unknown, what people need help with. We're going to walk to one of our other hands-on labs. Ignore the stuff in the hallway. We're still getting back in the swing for school. And you probably heard it in the video. A big thing is 8 for 8, giving 8 hours of work for 8 hours of pay. So you're putting that time in when you're on the job. So this is our motor control lab. It's a bigger room. We got two monitors so you can see what's going on when the class is going. But we have individual motor control stations. And these are things you would see in, if you went to a wastewater treatment plant or a water pumping station. They've got to know when to turn the motors on, when to turn the motors off. And a lot of that's done through motor controls. It's not someone pushing a button saying on or off. There's sensors that tell that the tank's full, so it kicks on, empties it. We're learning everything in there, how to wire them. Since you're wiring them yourself, you learn how to troubleshoot them. If you mess up, you have to figure out what you did wrong and correct it. We've got timers, it'll count cycles. We've got PLCs, which is up here that, it's a computer program that tells it how to do stuff. And we learn how to program the PLC to do that. And then we've got a motor hooked to each center, so you can actually turn your motor on and make sure it worked.
You can control the speed with it. We have variable frequency drives which control the speed of the motor. So this is I think one of the students' favorite labs. They learn how to draw their diagram from a word problem and go all the way to wiring that word problem up.
So yeah, this is our mainly a fourth year. First and second year, it's more of the boring classes. You're getting a lot of theory, a lot of safety. Once you get third, fourth, fifth year, it's more hands-on, learning the new stuff, getting your hands wet.
When you say theory, what do you mean by learning the theory?
So how electricity flows, why it flows, because most people go to the light switch and you turn your light switch on, the light comes on, and they don't know why, they don't know how, and that's what the theory covers. How it gets there, how many volts, the sine wave, how you can change that sine wave to make it do different things. Analyzing the circuit, how to troubleshoot stuff. So I don't know are those showing up mirrored?
We can see it perfect.
Okay, so here's some signs we have up. So 1,460 days is the average number of days spent in college. We average about 55 a year. So you're at 250 days of school. 34 years old, the average age a student pays off their student loan debt. That's probably longer now. But with us, you have no tuition. You have a yearly book bill, so you're paying for your books and the online access, which it's roughly $600 a year, but that's all you have out of pocket. And you get a 5-year program. And I know this one's outdated, $53,419, the average cost of a year of college tuition. For 4 years. So we know that number just keeps going up every year, the cost. So with our program, there is no real cost for the program. You sign an apprenticeship agreement, which says you agree, I'll switch camera back. You agree to work for one of our contractors for 5 years after you complete the program. And if by completing those 5 years of work, you pay us back in a roundabout manner. So we really don't have a tuition. That's a big thing for a lot of people. You don't have to come up with that money to go to school.
But with that, Brian, he said we don't have tuition. However, a person that completes our apprenticeship, they do get college credits. I think they can take 7 classes during their time here, and they receive their associate's degree. Most of those credits are without cost to those apprenticeship folks.
It's a really important distinction, because I think sometimes folks think that they just want to go straight to work and they don't want to go to college, and they think that this might be a different path. But in reality, if they're in your apprenticeship program, they're picking up college credit.
Absolutely.
An associate's degree, correct?
Absolutely. We bring the dean down here to talk to them once a year. So any questions they may have, they can talk over with them. So.
And let me just ask you that, because sometimes students might find out that they love this stuff so much they want to keep going with their education. So is it right to say that there's nothing stopping them from going getting a bachelor's in electrical engineering or something like that down the road?
Absolutely. Those credits even transfer to any college in Ohio. So if somebody is inclined to take advantage of that, that is quite a benefit of being in our program.
So what are some of the most commonly asked questions? Because we're coming towards the tail end of our tour, and you've shown us the classrooms, you've shown us some of the tools they'd use, they've got to meet some actual training directors. What are some of the more common questions that you guys get from families and students interested in joining your program?
Well, qualifications is one, obviously. And there are certain things that you have to be qualified to become an electrical apprenticeship that some of the other trades may not have. The big one being algebra. If you don't have a credit of algebra, then you can't even apply here at the electrical training center.
Say that again so everyone hears it, because they got to know what they need to do.
If you don't have a credit of algebra, you're not going to be applying at our training center. So that's very important. A lot of people are wondering what the heck do they got to have algebra for? Well, just for example, bending pipe is based on trigonometry and the formulas in that. Our theory, AC theory, DC theory, that requires you to be able to solve equations. If you don't have any background in algebra, you're going to be lost.
So Eric, with that, can I ask a question? Because I've seen your guys' math problems that you guys give these students. It's not like their normal math. It's practical, and they can actually see how it applies. Can you kind of speak to that? So if they can survive and get in with the amount they need, you guys can teach them in a different kind of way, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, just for instance, so DC theory starts out in the first year. It's a very simple theory with only 3 variables, but that branches into AC theory, which has many more variables, many more things going on, because the current is going back and forth 60 times in the US, 60 times a second. So that creates some different effects rather than just electrical flow. But in Anthony's class, when they go over DC theory, they can do the circuit analysis. They can actually test the resistance of a resistor, figure out the math on what the voltages should be, and then put the meter to it and see if they're getting the correct readings according to what they figured they should be with the math problem. So it's very important to be able to understand math. And you're not going to pass the aptitude test unless you have a decent background in math, just to be frank.
Yeah, that's a sober assessment of reality. So you get questions about qualifications. What other questions that you guys
typically get? Pay is a big one. What's the pay? Our first year apprentices right now started $13.08 an hour, which is a couple bucks an hour more than I started at. But our journeymen top out at $31.15 an hour currently. That's on their paycheck. But in addition to that, they're getting almost $20 an hour in additional benefits paid by the contractor. our health care, $7.20 for every hour you work. A contractor's putting $7.20 an hour in your health and welfare account, which goes to pay your insurance premiums. In addition to that, you're getting $8.10 an hour right now as a journeyman into your pension fund. So every hour that I work, I'm getting $8.10 an hour into my retirement pension fund. There's also a $3.20 an hour going into an annuity fund. So if you add all that up, when you're done with our program, 5 years, you're going to be right at 100 grand, and that's working no overtime. That's wages, benefits, and you almost have your college degree.
So for the students sitting at home, you can make 6 figures as an electrician. You just got to put in the work and have an aptitude for math and a love for making things with your hands. We started a little bit late, so we went a little bit longer than we normally planned for. I can only say thank you from the bottom of my heart, but I know that there are students all over the region trying to figure out what they're going to do after school. So we wanted to make sure that they met your training directors and the apprenticeship coordinators and the folks that can actually get them into the next step. So we really appreciate you guys. How much we appreciate it. So thank you guys. And if anyone has any questions, make sure they reach out to DaytonApprenticeships.org for more details. If you guys have anything else,
Get ready to go to work all day.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. You have a great rest of your day, and thanks for talking with us today.
All right.
Anytime. Thank you.